Now, if you recall, we talked about local scope and how when you have a function, the parameters and the variables declared within that function have its own set of memory that we call local scope. The memory that is not inside that function is called global scope. So if we have a variable and we call it test1, and we can assign that a value of 95, that test1 is going to be in something that's called our global scope memory. Okay, so we have test1, and it's holding that 95. Well, we can also reuse variable names. And we could say our variable sum equals any number we want. And now sum is going to hold that 32 in it. And because this is outside of the function, remember this is our curly brace that defines what's inside the function. Since this is outside the function, we don't have to worry about these numbers changing. So now if we call and we want to get a sum of our pennies, we can call our function add and pass in some numbers. Okay? So here we have sum of pennies. So we have another global up here. And we add 103 and 210. So our N1 is 103. Our N2 is 210. And we add those together and store it in our local scope for sum. So that is 313 in our sum. That 313 gets returned from the add, and so our sum of pennies is 313. But we didn't have to use a different variable name. We could have said sum equals add 103 and 210. Okay? We're passing in the same numbers here. So this is all going to be the same. But when it gets returned, it's going to set the sum. Now, which sum is this? Is it the sum from the global scope? Or is it the sum from the local scope? Well, are we inside our function here? No, our function opens and closes with these curly braces, so we are outside of the function. That means that this is our global scope. So we set our global scope variable. Oh, this is this variable. And so this sum becomes 313 after this line of code executes.